Hello, Homestead. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence.
From Homestead Media, this is HHS In-Depth.
Welcome back to HHS In-Depth. On today's show, Michael Foxworthy has the latest on our new student parking lot, now officially under construction and beginning to take shape. Then Leah Stoip brings us the story of a Homestead student who's recently tackled one of America's most prestigious invite-only math competitions, known for its challenging essay-based problems. Plus, we'll revisit the highlights from last week's Dazzling Spring musical and spotlight other Spartans making headlines. All that and much more coming up on today's episode of HHS In-Depth. Hello, Homestead. It's Friday, May 9th, and thank you for joining us today on HHS In-Depth. I'm Carly Swimiller.
And I'm Will Cheritini. And Carly, last week's temperatures were on the warmer side, and I'm really hoping that continues this week, especially into the weekend for Mother's Day.
Yes, and I've already taken a sneak peek at those temps, especially the UV index, and I'm seeing that both are super high. So luckily, we now have weather reporter Owen Kruger here to give us some more details.
Carly, that is correct. This weekend is about as good as it's going to get for this time of the year. For today, we'll see sunny conditions and a modest 68 degrees as the high, with the low dipping into the low 40s tonight. But as the weekend arrives, so do warmer temperatures, with tomorrow reaching a high of 78 and Sunday getting close to 80. Nothing short of a perfect day to celebrate all the moms out there. If you like being reminded of summer with all these warmer temps, be sure to stick around for a look into next week's forecast a little later into the show. Owen Kruger, HHS In-Depth.
And now we go beyond Homestead.
In international news, tensions are rising in South Asia following a major military escalation earlier this week. India launched significant airstrikes on targets in Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir in response to a deadly massacre that claimed the lives of 26 civilians in India-controlled Kashmir 2 weeks ago. In a dramatic development, Pakistan says it has shot down 5 Indian fighter jets, a claim India has yet to confirm. This marks the deepest cross-border strike by India into Pakistan in over half a century, sharply raising concerns over the long-standing Kashmir conflict. In more local news, this past Tuesday, the Indiana Pacers stunned the Cleveland Cavaliers in a dramatic 20-point comeback to win Game 2 120-119 in the Eastern Conference semifinals, taking a 2-0 series lead. Despite Donovan Mitchell's 48 points, Cleveland couldn't hold on, struggling without injured starters Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. The series now shifts to Indianapolis, where Game 3 will be played tonight at 7:30 at Gamebridge Fieldhouse.
Thank you, Will, for some news outside the walls of Homestead. Homestead's new parking lot is visibly making progress, and that's got many students and staff wondering exactly when will it open. While there's plenty of speculation, official word from the school on an opening date has not yet been released. HHS In-Depth reporter Michael Foxworthy has been looking into the details and joins us now with the latest.
One thing constantly changing with the ongoing construction has been the status of the school's parking lots, with student drivers being diverted and moved around throughout the years as the construction goes on. Then, at the beginning of this semester, the Freshman Academy was demolished to make way for a new student parking lot. However, Homestead still has yet to announce when this new lot is set to be completed, leaving the question, why?
We haven't come out with anything official just because, like a lot of stuff in the project, we've not known exactly when we're going to get it. They're really hoping to get it done by the first day of school. That's the deadline. That's what everybody's pushing for. What we know are going to be out there is almost about 650 spots. If we combine that with the current bus lot, we should be able to go back to giving sophomore spots in the fall.
But with so many students anticipating this new lot, many wonder how much urgency Homestead is putting into its construction compared to other projects.
There's different crews working on the different things. So I think there's urgency just to get everything done. If we wanted to prioritize things personally, and that's just not how it works, but we wouldn't want our engineering classes and our new study halls to be finished first, because that affects, I think, the students' education. I know if you have to walk a little further to get to school, that stinks if you don't have a close spot. And, our hallway being finished and get rid of that detour. Our cafeteria is only about 30 to 40% done. So I think those things from where I sit are more of a priority. But again, I'm not affected by it every day, so I understand.
With the construction coming along nicely so far, we can only hope it'll continue on pace for its completion next year. Michael Foxworthy, HHS In-Depth.
Thank you for the story, Michael. Stick around, more HHS In-Depth is coming up next.
There are approximately 8 million deaths per year from mental health. The most common is suicide. Somebody takes their life every 43 seconds. More kids and young adults die from suicide than cancer, stroke, lung failure, heart disease, and influenza combined. Most suffer in silence, and even the most suicidal people give good advice. There's always someone there to listen. I promise you're not alone. It's been 43 seconds.
Welcome back to HHS In-Depth.
Homestead High School's DECA chapter spent last week at the DECA International Career Development Conference in Orlando, Florida, and came home with multiple accolades. Leading the way, Trent George and Porter Vucic secured a top 10 finish internationally for their sales project, earning 2 finalist medals, a significant honor for both the students in the school's DECA program. Individual excellence was also on display, with Sharika Kumar and Eli Hallman each receiving medals for their top-tier performances in role-play competitions. Additionally, Shemi Boda was recognized with a medal for an impressive test score. Overall, it was a remarkably successful showing for Homestead DECA, which saw 16 students qualify and compete at this prestigious international event. Congratulations to all students and staff involved.
The energy was electric in the auditorium this past weekend. Homestead's talented performing arts department truly lit up the stage with their annual spring musical. The timeless and high-spirited comedy Anything Goes. The production was a spectacular showcase of student talent, packed with impressive choreography, outstanding vocals, and plenty of show-stopping moments. And what was it like to be at the center of it all? Let's hear directly from the show's 2 leads as they recap their experience.
For this role, I really just tried to envision myself as a really desperate guy, which, what would you do if you were madly in love with somebody? Because that's really what motivates Billy. Stepping out on stage is very nerve-wracking, but once you get out there, then it becomes easier and easier each time.
Me personally, I kind of thrive off of the audience and being on stage. I just kind of channel my energy and all of my adrenaline into giving a good show and just kind of shining on stage as best as I can.
I really enjoy the dance during To Lovely because I haven't really gotten the opportunity to show off any dancing in any of these shows. But apart from that, I would say during the rehearsal process, I love learning music with everybody. I love hearing how everything comes together, and I just love interacting with the whole cast. It's a great cast.
One of my favorite moments is probably Gypsy and Me, when me and Brayden do the dance break, because it's just like so funny. Like, I think the song is just like so spontaneous. You really don't see it coming until it happens, and I think it's really fun.
If you've ever felt like you're interested in doing theater, I would really encourage you to try something new. It can be really eye-opening, and it provides you with a lot of skills that are necessary for the outside world.
Last Thursday, C-SPAN officials visited Homestead to honor senior Leah Stoip's documentary, Kids First, Indiana Child Welfare System. Her film won second prize in the Central Division of C-SPAN's National Student Cam competition for its powerful message and engaging presentation. Following this year's theme of Your Message to the President, Stoip interviewed experts and legislators involved in the child welfare system to support her message to the president, prioritizing America's kids. Her documentary can be viewed at studentcam.org.
A reminder for students had artwork featured in April's Spring Art Gallery. Your pieces are now ready to be collected. Please head to one of the art rooms to retrieve your work. Make sure to do this by the upcoming deadline of Friday, May 16th, as all artwork must be picked up by then.
No down to the wire today, but here is the week's athlete of the week. Each week, one boy and girl are nominated by their coaches for excelling in their respective sport, both on and off the field. This week's athlete of the week are from Unified Track and Field, Bryce Akery, and from girls tennis, Macy Parker. Congrats, and please go to the athletic office to receive your prize.
Most people don't look forward to tests, but this spring, a Homestead junior took the USAMO, a math exam offered to fewer than 300 high schoolers nationwide. It's the final step before International Math Olympiad, and it starts right here at Homestead with the American Mathematics exam. HHS In-Depth reporter Leah Stoip has the story.
Shammy Boda has been preparing for the AMC since he first took it in 8th grade. But why spend several hours a week studying for a math test?
I think it's a great way to learn valuable problem-solving skills and advance my mathematical knowledge, kind of test my abilities and try to do something that's more challenging than regular schoolwork.
Yet apparently light work for the budding mathematician, who only missed one question on the AMC, putting him in the top 1%. Next was the 3-hour, 15-question AIME.
It was a snow day, and we didn't want to reschedule, so yeah, I came in late on a snow day and just took it.
Finally, in March, Shammy discovered that he qualified for the USAMO.
It's probably the hardest of the 3 by far, and you have to try to stay focused for 4.5 hours. And it's very different from the other ones because instead of finding a computational answer, you're trying to prove a theorem.
This is a huge accomplishment, so make sure to congratulate Shammy on making it so far. Leah Stoip, HHS In-Depth.
Thank you for the story, Leah. Stick around, more HHS In-Depth is coming up next.
Looking ahead to next week, Monday hosts a high of 81 combined with a low of 61. And although the high dips into the 70s for Tuesday's afternoon showers, the following Wednesday and Thursday are 78 and 84 degrees respectively, despite both days being clouded with clouds. With all the AP testing this week, on top of cramming for your finals, the weather is perfect for taking a break from your indoor studies to appreciate the summer that is soon to come. Owen Kruger, HHS In-Depth.
Next week, reporter Mara Nicholson brings us a story over senior advice for freshmen. Be sure to catch that story and much more next week on HHS In-Depth.
Welcome back to HHS In-Depth.
Thank you all for watching the show today.
Make sure to follow our socials to keep up with the latest news from Homestead Media.
We look forward to seeing you again next week for another episode of HHS In-Depth.
Enjoy your weekend, Homestead.